Welcome to the Iteration Planner in FogBugz. The Iteration Planner lets you get a high-level view of where your projects stand. Each column here refers to a milestone in FogBugz. A milestone, which may be a formal 2-week sprint or a couple-month duration of work, is essentially a deadline by which you plan to complete an allotted amount of work. And each card in these columns represents a case. The planner provides a lightweight way to oversee your work. Within each milestone, you can group cases by assignee, Kanban column, priority, project, status, in order to get a sense of where things stand. You can also drag and drop cases by moving them over into a new assignee simply to reassign or make any other changes. And all of those changes would be reflected back in the case. Now, all the way on the left, we have our backlog milestone, which has no particular end date, but represents the to-do list of items that we have yet to plug into our upcoming milestones. So let's set up a new planner and start by creating a backlog milestone. Now I'm going to move over into a new empty demo site to do that. But to begin, we're going to go to the drop-down menu under the planner and click Create Planner. I'm going to call this Donna's Planner. And I'm going to include just projects from the sample project. If I wanted to add any other projects that I have in my database, I could do that as well, but we'll keep things simple for now. Now, once I have created my planner, I now have the option to create a backlog milestone. So I'm going to add milestone, and I'm going to call this the backlog. And in this case, I'm going to select backlog milestone since I want it to behave as my backlog, but I don't need to set a due date since there won't be one for this backlog. And I'm going to set the project to my sample project and click Create. Now that the backlog is created, I can either create new cases right here just by clicking the plus sign. So do this, do that, and I can add the case details later. Or I can also search for existing cases. So I'm going to search for case number 3 in this database, which exists already. It's called a sample case, and I'm going to add it there. Now I can create a sprint milestone. So I'm going to go back to the Add Milestone button and start to type in the name of my new milestone. So let's call this first milestone. And once I have this, indicating that it's part of the sample project, I'm going to actually set a due date. So my start date is going to be today, and I'm going to set my due date for a couple weeks out. And once I have my first milestone, the process of adding cases is the same as before. Or I can also drag cases from my backlog into my milestone. And you can add additional milestones to this planner in order to plan the rest of your work. We can also add filters to the planner, since sometimes this can help remind us when there's work to be done that hasn't yet been added to the backlog or to any milestone. A filter column is also helpful if you have cases from other milestones that you don't want to see in your planner view, such as undecided milestones or cases you'd like to see simply that match that filter. You just click Add Filter Column right here. And I'm going to pull from my cases. And once again, I can drag a case from here into my sprints or into my backlog. Lastly, let's take a look at the Kanban feature in FogBugz. So you'll see this little button here. This will allow you to enter into your Kanban. Now, the planner serves as a high-level project management tool, and the Kanban lets you zoom into a particular milestone. So right now you'll see in this milestone, I have two cases, an intro case for do not contact and case number 5 marked do that. When I click into the Kanban, I arrive at a board that consists only of those cases in that milestone. There's a simple default workflow that's already established here, which is planned cases, doing, and done. But in the Kanban, you can easily change the name of any column to indicate the stage of your workflow simply by double clicking. You can also add columns by clicking on the Add Column button, and you can change the order of columns by dragging and dropping. And once again, any changes that are made in the Kanban will be reflected back in your cases. And that concludes the tutorial for the Iteration Planner and Kanban in FogBugz.